for the grand final sprint?
If it's over 20 metres this year, he's a good chance. Yeah, good debate about the distance. Basti reckons he's got him covered over all distances, so Tippo picked the distance and got up.
What was the occasion, Brad? Was it just a challenge between the two of them? Or?
Oh, just mainly a bit of arrogance and big noting during speed school, so it led to the challenge, and that's part of what makes footy clubs great, that sort of camaraderie and banter and challenges being issued. So the boys are in a good space at the moment, but the challenges just keep coming, so another big one this week against Melbourne.
Daniel Wells close to hitting similar speeds to that?
Oh, he'd be quicker than those two. Yeah, he's coming along pretty well, but I doubt he'll play in the next fortnight. But pretty soon after that, we're hoping to get him back. But he's shown some really good glimpses of training. It's just more about how he pulls up consistently, and we need him pulling up pain-free for a few sessions in a row before we start thinking about playing him. He's not quite there yet.
Does he get to a point where you sort of got to play or be fit before he can sort of make finals?
Oh, it'll just be what it is. I mean, he's got to play before he's available for selection. The only thing that would change that is if we're able to get a really high-level match simulation session into him. But our preference would be for him to play at some level, VFL level before he plays AFL footy. But we've still got some flexibility in making that decision, so it'll just be what it'll be.
What percentage of the workload is he currently doing, would you say, compared to the main group?
Hard to quantify because he's not doing everything with the main group. So he's on a really individualised program, and it's an individualised rehab program. So it's very difficult to compare to the main group.
Is he the type of player though that doesn't need much, game time to be able to perform at his top?
Oh, we've got a pretty good template from last year when he was coming back from that significant Liz Frank injury, where he was certainly our best player in the first half in the first final, if not for the whole game. So he came off a pretty limited preparation back then. So we know what he's capable of when he's fully fit, and he's been able to do a fair chunk of work that we'll be happy enough with his conditioning. It's just about how he can recover from the injury itself.
Chance to play at the MCG this week, important for the club?
Yeah, we don't get to play there too often, but we do enjoy playing there. I think the boys always get a bit of a spring in their step, but going back to the home of footy. But it's going to be good to get back there, and surface has obviously been a bit of a discussion point. And I think that we're in the middle of winter in Melbourne. It's been a pretty cold winter, so there might be a few reasons for why the surface isn't as good as it has been. Playing rugby league state of origin games there probably doesn't help either. So that's something that we've, as a code, I think we've got to monitor, because largely the surfaces that we all play on these days are amazing. So I think that regardless of the state of the MCG this weekend, it'll be better than it was 30 years ago.
Did you do anything in preparation different because of the surface this weekend? No,
not really. Players they're professional. I mean, we have spoken about it and making sure we're just prepared for a potential shifty surface. But nothing in terms of the way we train.
Lockie Hansen done enough to come back in, Brad?
Yeah, he's available for selection. He looked good last week, playing for Werribee. He's played two back now, so he's certainly available, and that gives us a bit of flexibility with Frito being injured. So he'll be in the mix, but along with about four other players. Brad McKenzie's been in really good form. Max Warren is continuing to do everything we ask him to do. Robert Nahas obviously played really well. So there, Aaron Mullett, who really only missed through injury and then couldn't get his spot back. So we've got some good options to replace Spud.
How healthy is the list in general now? I mean, you talk of a guy like Mullett who can't get back in just because of injury. It's a great position to be in this time of year.
Yeah, it is. We had two sort of unusual, they weren't omissions because they just didn't get their spot back after missing through injury in Nahas and Mullett. So they've been doing everything we've been asking them to do. So it's a real credit to our medical staff, because we started the year in pretty poor shape. We had probably half our preliminary final side go in for surgery. So it's been a good effort to get more back, because history tells you if you start with a long injury list, you usually finish with one.
In light of the performance of Robbie Tarrant last week, can the club afford to lose him?
Well, we can't afford to lose anyone that we want to keep. I mean, I think it's pretty simple this time of year. You try and recontract all the players that you're really keen to keep, and Robbie's certainly one of those. So, but he's in the same boat as a lot of other players.
Drew Petrie's obviously been in good form. Brad, has he earned another year? Is it sort of one that you're sort of prepared to make a decision on that now?
List management's is done by committee. It's not purely my decision. So those discussions are ongoing. I mean, coaches' input into recontracting is probably less than most people think. Those discussions will go on with Drew's management, and he's a really important player to us, and we're keen to keep him, and he's keen to play on. So if all those things match up and we get a deal done, then that's great. But I don't think it's the right thing to do to constantly have these discussions about players in the public forum.
How do you ensure that it's not a distraction then for those players and for the playing group in general?
You just focus on week to week. I mean, you focus on what's important. Now, we've just had a good discussion about what Melbourne are going to, the challenge they're going to put in front of us this weekend, and that's got to be your focus. And you ask any player, I mean, when they start to think too far ahead, whether that's a couple of weeks or a year, then they take their eye off what's important in the short term.
What kind of challenge are they going to put in front of you? I mean, what have you made of them?
I think they've been really good defensively this year. I think there's been a little bit of discussion around the frustration of some of their inconsistency, but I beg to differ. I think they've been very consistent. I think they've, what you're going to get from them. They're a really good, honest team. They're well coached. They're defending one-on-one in their back 50 as well as anyone in the competition. So, I think that if the opposition are a little bit off, then Melbourne will beat you. And that's been the case so far this year. So, while we've got enormous respect for their individual and collective capabilities, I really feel this week's going to be more about us than them.
Have you heard Lee Matthews' latest suggestion, Brad, of a ball up being done every 5 minutes if there's not a goal to reduce congestion? And if so, any thoughts on it?
Yeah, did Lee was he thinking out loud when he said that, or because I've only just heard about it? I think it's Lee's probably, if not the smartest, one of the smartest people in football history. But that one, unless I've heard the wrong version, it doesn't make a lot of sense, because just encourage you to defend even stronger. If you're a poor team, then turn the game into a defensive scrap, and at least you get the ball back into the middle. So, no, I don't like that idea, and Lee will probably ring me and have a crack at me again. So, apologies, Lee.
There's been talk, Brad, there might be an Etihad home final, elimination final this year. If North qualify in that position, would you like to have a final at Etihad in preference to the G?
Not in preference. I mean, we love Etihad. Obviously, it's our home ground. We know it really well. But we're really looking forward to the G this week. Had 2 good finals wins at the MCG last year, so where we play is not a concern.
Glad to get the round 23 Friday night gig.
Yeah, it's always good for the footy club in general. Good for our fans. Good for the exposure of the football club, and good for the players to test themselves against really good opposition. Under the Friday night lights. So we welcome any opportunity to play then.
Thanks, Brad.